Tonight, we will look at biblical events that God sends us to let us know that we are indeed in the last days. Matthew 24 is Jesus showing what the world looks like as he is coming in the clouds with his angels with him as he's descending down. Matthew 24 is the most complete prophetic overview that Jesus gave. What we see as Jesus gives us a bird's eye view are a lot of things going on in the earth that were not going on during any other time in history all at once. Jesus says in Matthew verse 8, "These are the beginning of sorrows." These things are going to ramp up more and more as the day approaches. Go to verse 33. "When ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door." You notice it says all these things. What things? All the things Jesus spoke about. Look at the next verse. A verse over much controversy, but read in context, it's easy to understand. "Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled." Jesus says this generation shall not pass until all these things be fulfilled. What generation? The generation that sees all these things. Jesus is giving us specific details. These are all signs, but what is the ultimate sign? Jesus is the sign. Look at verse 30. "And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." The only sign everyone sees is the sign of the Son of Man. But the trends, you will see trends that start lining up. When you see those, Jesus says he is at the door. You will see these trends speeding up. Every day the prophetic lens gets clearer and clearer. All the end times events were recorded between 2,000 and 3,500 years ago, and now they are happening in our lifetime. You can say that each one of these is on the horizon. Let's look at a handful of trends and specific events that Christ gave us. Remember, Jesus says when you see these things, know that it is near. Let's look at the book of Daniel in chapter 12. Starting in verse 1, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for thy children and thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book." Michael, who was watching after God's people, and he is still there at the end, this is an end times event. Look down at verse 4. "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end." You see, this is talking about the end times. "Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." This is speaking about end times, and here we get two end times prophecies about what will be going on at the end. Look at what is being said. This should give us pause. Many shall run to and fro. This is talking about global travel. Did you know that over 71 million people in America flew in a plane this year? Did you know we had no advancements in travel from biblical times all the way up to Ben Franklin? In the American Revolution, when he solicited the help from France, he went on a sailboat. The same way of travel that Jesus used. The same way Jonah traveled to get away from God. Travel hasn't changed since Bible times. Not until the 1800s we had the invention of the steamboat and steam engines. Then into internal combustion. From there, automobiles. Then came the Wright brothers who took internal combustion and made airplanes. We are just traveling, going to and fro like never before. But look at the second prophetic sign. "And knowledge shall increase." We have gone from kilobytes to megabytes to gigabytes to terabytes to petabytes to exabytes. And they just have to keep coming up with new names. We aren't even aware of the explosion of technology that is happening around us. I can remember a time when if you had car trouble, you had to walk to the nearest payphone to call someone for help. Today, we can just pull out our smartphone and call AAA or a tow service. We used to have these maps that started out very small and unfolded them and became huge maps, and that is how we got from one destination to another. Now we just punch in the address of where we are going into a GPS system, and a satellite above us will guide us to our destination. And if we get off track, it will recalculate our fastest route. In 2010, the world used 2 zettabytes of information globally. This year, the world used 100 zettabytes. Information is doubling at such a rate it's getting harder to calculate the speed. Daniel said, "Knowledge shall increase," and it is increasing like at no time in history. We are living at a time where we don't even think about it. Imagine being dropped into the 16th century without the ability to travel at a fast rate, without any sort of technology. We wouldn't know how to handle it, without refrigeration and electricity. It would be barbaric to us, like an alien civilization. Now think of Daniel looking into the future and seeing us today. That would be an extremely different world. Now, what else is going on? Matthew 24:14 says, "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." This gospel must first be preached to all the nations. Today, portions of the entire Bible have been translated into 2,300 languages and dialects, able to reach 90% of the world's population. Never before has global evangelism been so successful reaching the world. Pestilence will be prevalent and increasing. We are seeing that happening today. Never before has the world economy been shut down, but because of a pestilence, now it has. Next, there is going to be global tracking and positioning with global money. We don't even think about it. Our bank cards are what we rely on. Have you ever thought about the fact that when you swipe that card, it instantly goes to your bank account to see if you have the money before processing? It's instantaneous. They know from your spending exactly where you're at. Venmo, Cash App, Apple Pay, and Google Pay all make it possible to control your money, and soon one person, the Antichrist, will. There are also signs of mass destruction. Did you know the United States and Russia have enough nuclear weapons to destroy the entire planet several hundred times over? Next, global religion and the Jews back to the Promised Land. That is an event that should have woken every believer up. When the Jews migrated back to Israel, it put us all on notice. Now we have a global religion that involves Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, and Catholics, called the Abrahamic Accord. This religion involves all but the true religion of Christianity. All these events unfolding should bring us to yearning for a closer relationship with Jesus. If you haven't made that decision to get right with God, now is the time.